Today I'm going to make an interactive card with the Blueprints 30 and the Little Bitty Bears set, which is an adorable combo. So let me show you the main part of this Blueprints 30 set. I have cut this in black and white, but it's just a little bit easier to see in white. It comes with a little hinged flap or door that you can use to hide a gift card, a sentiment, another scene, anything you like. And it has this little slot die that comes with it and this tab, which is really super ingenious because it can hold the flap closed. So depending on the weight of your cardstock, if you're using heavier weight cardstock and that flap wants to lift up, this little slot and the tab will keep that closed if you're sending that through the mail, etc. So I will be using that feature today. Of course, you don't have to. You can also cut the door off and just have a nice stitched rounded corner frame if you like. Lots of possibilities. So I decided I am going to have a black card base. There is an optional die in the set that will let you cut an insert if you are sending a gift card. So I have an ancient Sonic gift card. It's not actually a gift card. It's a free drink card, but it's the same size as a gift card. And you can just slide that into the little tabs. So just keep that in mind with this set, that it really makes a great gift card holder that hides a gift card in with this functional little set of tab dies that comes with it. You can really have a nice gift. That is not what I'll be using today. But this little hinge is already scored when you cut the die and everything is ready to go. So my card base is going to be black, because we're going to do a nighttime scene and I'm going to kind of merge a galaxy background with the black base of this card die. So now this little stitch die, this panel, fits on top of that hinged door, and I cut that out of white, and that's going to be the basis of my scene. So I've cut a circle out of masking paper that I'm going to mask a moon with. So this is going to be a little bear with his little fish and a stump. And those are going to be at night. I think I'm going to have them next to each other and not have the bear standing on the stump, but you could. This is a cute little scene building set, especially for all you bear lovers out there. And I'm going to use my favorite color combo, the something blue, to start with to create this night sky, and then some boysenberry, and then some black. So I popped the ink pad in my ink stand, and I'm using just that scrap that I showed you the slot dies with to get the initial bit of ink off of my brush. And then that lets me blend kind of a lighter amount of ink when I start. And the reason that I want it to be light, even though this is a nighttime scene, is the moon. I'm going to try to make it look like the moon is shining a little beam down onto the bear, his fish, and the little stump. And so I want the little ray of light that's coming out of my moon to be lighter. And so I just get in the habit of getting that first bit of ink off. It makes for a smoother blend. And it lets me control how much color I'm putting down onto my cardstock. So in order to create that illusion that the moonlight is coming in a certain direction, certain parts of this will be darker than other parts. So that little angle is what I'm looking for. So that means over here on the right-hand side, and then behind the moon, I'm going to darken it up. And that's where I'll be using the boysenberry and the black, and then leaving this other area naturally a little bit lighter. So it's worth spending the time to me to really get the blend that you want. Personally, I'm a process card maker. I create cards because I enjoy the process, and it doesn't matter if it's a quick result or a longer result. I like this part of it, so it's worth taking the time to get this just right, in my opinion. So now I will switch to the boysenberry ink. This is a gorgeous combo. You've seen me use this before, but it really makes a great night sky. Adds that violet layer on top of the blue and just looks like a richly colored background scene. So again, I'm going over the darker areas, the areas that I had already darkened with the something blue, and I'm adding the purple on top of there. So one portion of this, the lightest portion, will just have the blue ink on it. It won't have any of the boysenberry. Now I have some black ink, and I'm just going to put the darkest section kind of behind the moon on the left and at the top, and let that really blend into my black card base. So it's kind of a seamless transition to the black cardstock. Now I have some white drawing ink, and I'm just setting the sky scene on top of the entire little frame base, and then splattering that drawing ink on with a very small paintbrush. If you use a small paintbrush and use a thin medium, you can get really tiny stars like this, and I like it. So now one of the reasons that I like to have marker swatches is for situations like this, where I want kind of a pale purple and a pale blue marker to color the light coming from the sky scene onto the bear and the little stump. And so it helps me if I can just put my ink blended panel down onto my swatch chart and really get as close to those colors as I can. So I do encourage you to swatch. It takes a little bit of time, but it's worth it. So now I will color the bear with his little fish. He's so cute. He's like hugging the fish. I feel like the fish is his friend and maybe not food. We'll see. So I'm putting down a little bit of the light blue marker on the side of the bear and the fish that would be closest to the moonlight. So you can choose any way you want your light source to work. And also remember, it's just a stamp. You can have your light source coming from anywhere. There are no rules. Then for the rest of the bear, I'm going to color him bear colored. He's going to be a brown bear. And so I have two different colors of brown. I have a dark brown that I'll create a little bit of shading with, nothing fancy. I never do super fancy coloring with markers, just something to indicate that parts of the bear away from the moon are a little bit darker than the parts of the bear that are closer to the moon. Now I colored the light marker into the brown just to blend it. This really is so easy. You can color from either direction. It doesn't have to be perfect when you're done, but it helps soften that transition line between the blue and the brown and gives you that look of a little bit of a highlight on the bear. So I'll come back and add a little bit of shadow with the dark brown color kind of underneath the fish and underneath his arms to give him a little bit of dimension. And so now you can see kind of that angle and the glow of the moon and how it hits the little bear. Very simple light source stuff, nothing too complicated. So I will do exactly the same thing. Top left corner will get the blue and the lavender markers. And then the rest of the stump will actually be colored the same color brown as the little bear, so the whole thing feels kind of harmonious all the way across the scene. Again, no fancy coloring here, just simple coloring, and then I'll come back with the lighter marker to blend the line so that it's not just a harsh straight line. So I'm just sort of feathering that out a tiny bit and lightening that up, and that looks really cute. Now, if you wanted to, you could take the additional step of coloring the white edge of the die cut blue or purple or ink blending them, whatever you like. I sort of like the crispness of the edge of a die cut in this scene. Plus, it gives them a little bit of a glow, which I think is really cute. Now, for a complementary color to the sort of purple tone on the background and on the fish, I am choosing a green. I love complementary color combos. I think it makes everything pop. So I have a green and a little darker green for a shadow that I'll blend out with the lighter green. And then I'll take that pale marker and blend the green into the purplish bluish head of the fish. And look how simple that is. And it looks really, really cute. Such a cute little scene. Little bear out there at night by himself with his fish. So if you want to, you can use a colorless blender to fix any areas where you've gone outside the line of the stamp image with your marker. I just use a white gel pen. It's easy, it's quick. I don't have to worry about the colorless blender moving the color on my image around or fading it out just a little bit. It's easy. So I will unmask the moon, and don't you just love that crispness when you pull a mask off of something? It's really kind of satisfying. So I will glue, I put a little bit of glue on the back of the bear, and I'll glue him down, and what do you know? I forgot to color his nose. I'll have to fix that before I put the rest of the pictures together. So then I'll add the little stump next to the bear. I like the way these two sort of took up the whole space. That's why I didn't stack the bear on top of the little stump. Now this has a nice thick frame, so it's easy to crease this with a bone folder on the little hinge side. And this is what it's going to look like when it's all together. And I'm just going to put the tab down and glue that down before I glue the bear scene on top of that. So what I like to do is just put it into the slot on the bottom part, in this case, of the card. This can be obviously horizontal or portrait mode. Mine's horizontal. And then just pop my magnet on it while that dries on the front of the card. And then glue the little bear scene down on top of that. And because I splattered them together, it really looks sort of cohesive in the whole scene. And then you can see how that flap holds that entire thing closed, and it's very easy to operate. I love that it holds it closed. Mine do tend to pop open. I like thicker cardstock, so I think that you'll really enjoy having that option. So here's the finished card where I did go back and color the bear's nose and put a little white highlight on there. The part on the right has the sentiment on the inside of this card, and I hope you've enjoyed this. Thanks so much for watching.